scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate our kiss from last night?
After 4 long years, by Naughty Dog's latest action-adventure game, The Last of Us Part 2 is here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first official video game review here on the Film Optics YouTube channel. My name is Christian, and today I will be giving my first thoughts about the latest PlayStation 4 exclusive, The Last of Us Part 2. So fear not about spoilers. We plan to do a full spoiler review later on.
What the hell are you doing here?
You think I'd let you do this on your own?
Now, personally, I didn't think this game was going to launch on the PlayStation 4, but I'm kind of glad I was proven wrong. It's been about 7 years since the original game was released on the tail end of the PlayStation 3's life cycle, and it looks like its successor is following in its footsteps, especially with the PlayStation 5 launching this holiday season. And a big spoiler warning for everyone out there, this review does contain spoilers for the original game, The Last of Us, so if you haven't played it, the remastered version is available for about $20 on the PlayStation 4, so you have been warned. The previous game ended with a huge cliffhanger with Joel lying to Ellie about the Firefly organization, finding a cure for the infected population while on their way to Tommy's settlement. Now, this tore me to pieces because I don't think I've ever played a game with such a simple yet incredible story. I laughed, I cried, and it left me craving for more adventures with Joel and Ellie, and thankfully the time has finally come.
It is time!
Since this is my first game review, I'm going to try to keep it short, sweet, and simple for everyone. I tend to talk a lot about the things that I love, and I love The Last of Us. It's one of my favorite games ever, and I play it at least once or twice a year. But also, if you're one of those people who knew about the leaks prior to the game's release, please keep them to yourselves. This review is for people who are looking for a first impression of the game, so I'm asking you to be respectful. Ever since hackers leaked the story online, it's been getting pretty real out there.
Where are you guys with this right now?
Like this moment in time. You want to know what happens next, don't you?
Spoil it.
You don't want to know how this ends, really?
No.
So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to be breaking this review into 3 parts: the presentation, the gameplay, and the story. And I know what you're thinking right now. Why are you even bringing up the story in a spoiler-free review of The Last of Us Part 2? And I just want to say that I'm only going to be covering my first impressions of what I've played thus far. This is a first impressions video. This is not a deep dive into the game. That is going to take some time because this is Naughty Dog's most ambitious game yet. So without further ado, without any more chitter chatter, let's just jump in. It would be super easy to say that this game looks great and move on to the next subject, but I feel like that sentence alone does not do this game justice. You can definitely tell that Naughty Dog is really pushing the limits of the PlayStation 4's hardware, similar to how the original game did on the PlayStation 3's hardware. But for the longest time, I actually thought that Uncharted 4 was the best looking game on the PlayStation 4, but it looks like Naughty Dog has yet again outdone themselves like they always do. And sure, there are other great looking games out there like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Spider-Man for the PS4, but the graphics in this game, the presentation is just chef's kiss. I would also like to point out that the character models in this game are incredibly detailed. It definitely has that Naughty Dog polish that we all know and love, especially from the Uncharted series. Everything just looks so realistic. It just draws you straight in. and that is one of the many things that I love about this game. But the performances done by Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, who play Joel and Ellie respectively, is amazing. It always has been. We've known this from the first game, but the latest Naughty Dog dynamic duo is back and better than ever. But I think the main takeaway from this is that a game's graphics is only as good as its gameplay. For those of you who are familiar with the gameplay of the first game, I want you to take what you know and throw it out the window, because this game has a lot of changes. They may seem small, but it changes the mechanics of the game in a big way. We all know the point, shoot, cover, slash, sneak attack method from the first game, and as simple as they were, they are a lot more refined now. The new mechanics feel very tight, especially the new dodge mechanics. Enemies are smarter. They are more aware of their own surroundings as well as yours. And you can fit into smaller spaces like under a truck while going prone. And humans and infected are not your only enemies anymore. Yes, you heard it here first. Neil Druckmann, the game's director, has let the dogs out.
You ready to let the dogs out?
What?
Do what? Let the dogs out. You know, like, who let the dogs out? Who? Who brought this guy along?
But in all seriousness, the new game mechanics are astounding. I'm a good 15 hours in, and I still enjoy bum rushing enemies with my melee weapon when I get the chance. And now it is time to talk about the main reason why all of you bought this breathtaking game, the story.
I wish things were different. Ellie! But they ain't.
Please stop.
So as I've mentioned before, I'm only going to give my first thoughts, my first very brief thoughts on what I've played thus far. And what I have played thus far has been pretty damn good. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. I don't want to give anything away. I want those who are watching this video to walk into the story completely blind as I did. So I'm just gonna leave it there for now. And if you haven't picked up The Last of Us Part 2, I highly suggest it, especially if you're a big single player gamer like myself. And for those who have picked up the game, do you like it? Do you hate it? I wanted to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. But if you aren't a fan of the game, please, again, just be respectful to those who have not played the game, because, I just want to keep it as as general as possible. If you don't like it, you could just say, I didn't like the story, or I hated it, blah, 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 whatever. Either way, let me know your thoughts, in the comment section down below. And don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel, where we do weekly podcast episodes for all to enjoy. And you can find our podcast, Film Optics, on all major podcast platforms around the world. I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can check that out. And also keep a lookout for our spoiler discussion for The Last of Us Part 2 on our podcast in the coming weeks, as well as our next game review, Ghost of Tsushima. My name is Christian, and I will see you all in the next one.